Shelley with the show, live, local, topical, and relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, before coming up in the next segment, you don't want to miss this. I do want to talk about the podcast. The AJC did the interview with Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and everything that was said there. I do want to talk about that. That's coming up in the next segment. But really quickly, I've got to tell you today. So all during FIFA's time here in Atlanta, they've had something down at the CNN building. It's called the Cultural Exchange, Atlanta Cultural Exchange, and they've had vendors, and they had a series of conversations over the last 2 weeks. They had 8 of them. Today was the last one, where the mayor, Mayor Andre Dickens, sat with prominent people. And today was the last one, and he sat down with Jaylen Brown, the basketball player, recently of the Boston Celtics, and just traded to the 76ers. And as a Celtic fan, as you guys know, I was very upset at that trade. I think the Celtics got robbed. Paul George for Jaylen Brown, it's highway robbery. But this is not a sports show. But I want to talk about the interview. First of all, let me tell you, I'm going to reach out to Mayor Dickens. He is an incredibly good interviewer. And let me tell you, interviewing others, it's not easy, right? Now, there are some people who conduct interviews. They have a piece of paper in their hand, and they say, hey, where were you born? Oh, that's great. Where, you know what I mean? But then there are people who have conversations. And the mayor is very good at having these conversations, particularly with these high-profile people. And Jaylen Brown, he's from Atlanta. He's from Marietta. And so he's familiar with the area. He's familiar with the city. He grew up here. So it's a great conversation, and I'd love to talk to the mayor's people that when I'm not here, when I have to fill in for the morning or a Mark Aram, or when I'm off on vacation, maybe the mayor would think about filling in and doing my show, because he's a very good interviewer. So I'm going to reach out and see if he'd be interested in doing that. But I do want to say this. It was a fascinating conversation, because Jaylen Brown is as smart and intelligent as advertised. The conversation that they were having, this was not a conversation between a world and NBA championship player, a great college player, a great scorer, an MVP of the finals. No, it wasn't between an athlete and an engineer / politician / mayor of Atlanta. No, this was a conversation between two very, very intelligent men. And the conversation was way up there. And it was just fascinating as an observer of culture, an observer of things going on around me. That was the biggest thing that I came away with was, wow, what a great conversation between a mayor and a very, very smart young man. At a certain point, I knew I was watching Jaylen Brown, one of my favorite players. A little critical of the handle during the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. It's not a sports show. But one of my favorite players. He got me a chip, right? He and Jason Tatum got me a ring. So I'm okay with that. I think he's a great player. But at a certain point in watching this conversation, I was watching two very smart, very accomplished men talk about AI, about entrepreneurship, about the future, about media, about covering politicians and athletes and African Americans in the media, all of that in one conversation. And at a certain point, you're watching, it's like, this is smart brother, mayor, businessman. I did not see basketball player at all. The only reason at a certain point I know it's Jaylen Brown. And that was the most impressive thing about him. He takes me back. I'm old enough that he takes me back to the Magics, the Bill Russells, to Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Jim Browns. These were men who thought. These were men who planned. These were men who were more than just athletes. And I got to see it in real time what everyone is saying about how smart Jaylen Brown is. He is more than just an athlete. And anybody that sees him as just another basketball player is really, really, really wrong. This young man is a brilliant young man. And watching him today speak with the mayor of Atlanta, R.J. Dickens, I was looking at Jim Brown. I was looking at Bill Russell. I was looking at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was looking at the greats, Muhammad Ali. People, men who transcended sports to become more than just athletes. Shout out to you, Mr. Brown. God bless you and Godspeed in everything you seek to do in life. We'll be right back. It's the Shelley Winter Show.